Revealed answers on your sacred journey. Every detail is part of divine plan and 40 days. In the heart of Little Stowe, a quaint English village where every cobblestone whispered secrets from centuries past, Mary, a devoted single mother, found herself in the midst of a divine calling. Amidst the flickering glow of candlelight in the chapel that stood majestically in the village square, a fervent hope began to stir. With her son Samuel gravely ill, Mary's heart carried an unbearable weight. But it was the promise of an ancient prayer journal she discovered among her late grandmother's belongings that ignited a spark of faith within her. Could this be the key to salvation? As she leafed through its worn pages, a rush of warmth enveloped her, a sensation like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. Each line seemed to breathe with a life of its own, speaking to her in hushed tones. The words promised revelations to those who devoted themselves to 40 days of prayer, creating an electric anticipation in Mary's heart. Her friends and family gathered, all eager to join her on this sacred journey, a testament to their faith in divine intervention. The initial days flowed with divine grace. Inspirations flowed like a river, each prayer whispered curling up into the heavens where, it felt, angels gathered to listen. They felt the presence of something greater, as though the very air shifted when they gathered in prayer. It was intoxicating, life-transforming. Hushed murmurs filled the chapel as villagers spoke of miracles and lights that danced upon the altar. They witnessed signs, small flames flickering brilliantly where shadows once dwelled. Those were moments when they collectively felt the sacred touch of faith washing over them like rain after a drought. Yet, darkness lurked around the edges. Naysayers flourished, planting seeds of doubt. A neighbor's skepticism rang loud on the tongues of many, dampening spirits like a chilling wind. With each discouraging word, Mary felt her resolve shake. Caught between the relentless tide of modern medicine and her growing hesitation about unseen miracles, she clung to her son as doctors, at times feeling the weight of despair grow heavier by the day. Why must he suffer? She would often cry, wrestling with shadows that danced in her mind. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. It was after another troubling visit when her heart felt the closest to breaking. She cried out to God, each plea echoing desperation, questioning faith, questioning purpose. And when the chapel doors swung open, Eleanor, an elder of the church, stepped forth to share her own miraculous story of healing. The room filled with a warm light as she spoke words dripping with compassion that swept away their doubt like a gentle tide. Her testimony lit a fire in the hearts of all present, re-energizing their pact and inviting a deeper connection to the divine as they approached the final days of their prayer journey. Mary felt a palpable shift descend upon Little Stowe, an anticipation swelling like the tide. They gathered again, candles flickering, hearts entwined with a newfound belief. United in hope, they prayed fervently. In that moment, Mary felt the presence of the divine, a shimmering warmth encompassing them all. Would Samuel's life be restored? The silence stretched, heavy with longing, as they collectively held their breath, waiting for an answer that seemed poised on the edge of eternity. The air was thick with expectancy as the final days of their sacred journey blossomed into vibrant life. Candlelight flickered across the faces of those gathered in the chapel, casting dancing shadows that seemed to sway to the rhythm of their prayers. The gentle hum of voices formed a collective melody, rising up to the heavens as if beckoning the divine presence to join them. Mary clutched the prayer journal tightly, feeling each word resonate deep within her heart, like a drumbeat of hope. With each gathering, their unity grew stronger, a tapestry woven from shared faith and willingness to believe. Friends held hands, exchanging soft words of encouragement and whispered prayers. Mary could see the courage reflected in their eyes, a fierce determination to push back against the darkness that sought to overshadow their hope. They were warriors of faith, standing shoulder to shoulder, ready to face whatever trials lay ahead. Just as the sun began to set, casting a golden hue through the stained glass windows, Samuel's laughter echoed through the chapel. It was a sound that had been all too rare of late, one that painted the air with the colors of joy. Mary glanced toward the back of the chapel, where Samuel sat, propped up on a cushion, his bright eyes sparkling with an innocence that ignited her spirit. In that moment, she understood hope was not merely a wish. It was action, a step forward, a testament to the resilience of faith. "Let us pray," Mary said softly, her voice steady, infused with newfound spirit. They bowed their heads, a humble assembly before the Almighty. Mary poured out her heart, sharing both her anxiety and her hope. "Lord, we lay Samuel before you. With every prayer we believe in your power. We trust in your will, even when shadows loom." As the group collectively lifted their voices, a stillness enveloped them, grounding them in the presence of something far more significant than individual struggles. The chapel seemed to expand, walls fading into an infinite realm where earthly limitations ceased to exist, leaving pure, unfiltered faith in its wake. There, in that sacred space, every worry began to dissolve, replaced by the assurance that they were not alone. Then, just as the last echoes of their prayers trailed off, a sudden hush fell over the congregation. The candles flickered uncertainly, adding an air of mystery to the moment. Mary felt a powerful surge through her, a warm wave that enveloped her heart, almost like a hug from God himself. "What is this?" she wondered, her gaze drifting toward Samuel. To her astonishment, his laughter again broke the silence. This time it was a different sound. He began to rise, shaking off his blankets, seemingly fueled by a vibrant energy that hadn't been there mere moments before. Gasps echoed through the chapel, disbelief mingling with awe. Could this truly be the moment? As Samuel stood fully upright, a radiant light seemed to envelop him, a halo of divine touch illuminating his frail figure. Mary's heart raced. Was this the miracle they had prayed for? But then doubt crept back in, threading through the warmth of their joy. What if it's just a fleeting moment? What if suddenly, a voice rippled through the air, not from a human source, but a gentle whisper that fell softly on their ears? "Do not doubt what you see. Every miracle has its own time and purpose." Suspended in an electric silence, the villagers exchanged anxious glances, hearts thundering with uncertain hope. If Samuel was truly healed, what did that mean for all of them? As the weight of the moment pressed upon them, questions hung thick in the air. Was this the beginning of something extraordinary, or merely a glimpse of what was to come? In that stirring balance between hope and uncertainty, the next chapter of their journey beckoned, ready to unveil mysteries that lay just beyond their grasp. The stillness in the chapel felt heavy yet charged with the promise of divine revelation. Samuel, standing in the glow of that sacred light, looked around with an expression that blended wonder and knowing. Mary felt her heart pounding. This was not just a moment. It felt like a turning point in their spiritual journey. "Samuel," Mary called, her voice a rush of encouragement. "Can you walk? Can you come to us?" His eyes sparkled with energy as he took his first unsteady step. The congregation held its breath. A collective sigh nestled in the silence of anticipation. With each small movement, the air hummed with tension and hope. "Look," an elderly woman exclaimed, tears shimmering in her eyes. "Yes, walking. Glory be." An outpouring of emotional responses began. Hands clasped tightly, voices whispering fervent praises. Even the air in the chapel seemed transformed, infused with faith that propelled the ordinary into the extraordinary. Samuel, encouraged by the fervor around him, took another step, then another, each step resonating like church bells tolling in celebration. Mary felt a swell of joy, a wave that turned into laughter, filling the space with an exuberant energy that echoed God's goodness. Then, as if on cue, Samuel slowed, uncertainty flickering across his face. A sudden wave of vulnerability washed over him. The laughter faded, and once again, that familiar weight of doubt loomed. "What if this is just a moment?" he whispered, echoing Mary's earlier thoughts. eyes searching for reassurance. Suddenly, the gentle whisper returned, weaving its way through the crowd once more. Stand firm in your faith. The path may twist, but your journey is guided. Eyes widened as they felt the words reverberate deep within. The air thickened with promise, a reminder that faith was a journey molded by each step. Suddenly, Mary sensed a connection. This was not just about Samuel. This moment, this breakthrough, was meant for them all. Let us gather in prayer once more, she urged, heart emboldened by the whisper. As they joined hands, a circle of unity formed, each individual a thread in their collective tapestry. As prayers flowed, they asked not only for blessings but for wisdom, guidance, and clarity for the journey ahead. Mary felt herself swept along in that spirit, shedding the weight of their concerns alongside the flickering candlelight illuminating their faces. Do you feel it? A voice piped up from the back. It's like we're being lifted. In that moment, something profound shifted. Everyone turned inward, sensing it too, the lifting of burdens, the elevation of souls. All felt it, the certainty of connection, of purpose, of God weaving them into something beautiful. But even in that moment of joyful revelation, the air quivered with unanswered questions. What came next echoed in their hearts. As the last prayer left their lips, they opened their eyes, unsure of what the next chapter held. Mary breathed in deeply, the fragrant scent of the candles mixing with the warmth of hope. Perhaps this is only the beginning, she thought. Could we be on the brink of something monumental? In that sacred silence, the lingering mystery hung like a promise of miracles yet unfold. The atmosphere became electric with anticipation, as the congregation's heartbeats matched the rhythm of faith, steady, unwavering, ready to explore the unfolding journey ahead. And so, with their hearts lifted and spirits ignited, they stood on the threshold. The next phase was not simply about witnessing a miracle, but embracing the deeper revelations that awaited. What awaited them in these healing days? Would they be prepared for the answers that lay ahead, written in the fabric of their lives? The light in the chapel danced gently as if responding to the energy swirling around. It felt alive, pulsing with the prayers that had just risen to the heavens. Samuel, still in awe of his newfound steps, let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. He looked into Mary's eyes, finding comfort there, a reflection of the collective hope surrounding them. Should we take a moment to reflect? He suggested, his voice quivering slightly with emotion. Mary nodded enthusiastically. Yes, let us not rush through this. We've been given a gift, a chance to look deeper. The congregation settled into introspective silence, each heart consulting its own tempo of faith. In that stillness, they felt the warmth of divine presence wrap around them like a comforting blanket. It was a moment to hold on to savor, as they entered this new phase together. Sometimes we must unlearn what we thought we knew, an older man murmured, his face lined with years of wisdom. This journey is about more than just miracles, it's about transformation. What do we need to let go of? The words hung in the air, a gentle challenge woven directly into their experience. It sparked a chain reaction of thoughts among the gathered souls. What weights had they each carried? What doubts? What fears? I've let my past failures keep me from rising, said a young woman, her eyes shimmering like the light above them. Maybe I need to forgive myself. The hesitation and vulnerability shared among them began to dissolve into a collective strength, revealing their shared humanity. Each testimony was a thread being spun into the tapestry of their lives, vibrant with color, textured with experience. Mary felt her heart swell as she saw their spirits ignited. And how about the burdens we carry for others? She posed softly. The ones we feel responsible for, even when they're not ours to bear. Several heads nodded in agreement. The notion hit a nerve, one that resonated deeply. Healing started with themselves, yes, but it also extended to how they loved and carried others. Let us release what we've held on to, Samuel suggested, his confidence growing with every word. Let us offer it all back to God. With that, they closed their eyes once more, and Mary led them in a prayer of release. Each person visualized the burdens they carried as stones dropped into a flowing river, the smooth water beneath them gliding with ease, carrying their struggles downstream as the prayer concluded. A renewed sense of clarity and light filled the room. One by one, they opened their eyes, feeling lighter, as if pieces of constraining chains had fallen away. A soft whisper echoed through the chapel as if carried on a gentle breeze, reminding them, faith is a journey move forward into the unknown. It resonated deeply. The words were not just for Samuel, but for all of them. Look, Mary exclaimed, pointing towards the window that caught a beam of sunlight streaming in. Cast rainbows against the wall. Isn't it beautiful? This is what faith does. It turns our darkness into light. People gasped and smiled, marveling at the hues that painted their sacred space. A sense of divine assurance washed over them. Though darkness may visit, light always has a way of breaking through. Yet, as their hearts fluttered with wonder, questions lingered at the edges of their minds. What if the shadows return? Someone whispered. But what if they're only preparing us for greater light? Mary replied, her gaze steady. The atmosphere thickened with another layer of divine mystery. They were on the cusp of deeper revelations, the realization of purpose stretching out before them like the horizon after a storm. Yet, the road ahead remained uncharted. Little did they know, the next days would unveil truths that could only be revealed through journeying deeper into the essence of faith. What might they discover in the days to come that would transform not just their lives, but the lives of those around them? And so, the question lingered, igniting their spirits once more. What plan did God have nestled in the fabric of every step to come? As the week unfolded, a renewed energy permeated the small chapel. The shared vulnerability experienced during the prayer lingered in the air, echoing through the hearts of those who gathered. Each evening, they came together, united in their longing to seek answers and embrace whatever was to come. It was as if they had set out on an adventure, one that promised both challenges and blessings. Samuel felt an inner stirring as he prepared for the evening meeting. He could hear a soft whisper within, encouraging him to share more about his journey. What if his story could inspire others? As he stood, waiting for everyone to settle in, he glanced around, locking eyes with an elderly woman who wore a welcoming smile. Her presence was a reminder of the soul connections formed in shared faith. Tonight, let us explore the vision we have for our lives, Samuel began. His voice carried the weight of anticipation, inviting everyone to journey with him. What is God calling us to do? What dreams have we buried under the weight of our doubts? The questions hung suspended, promising the potential for profound introspection. People shifted in their seats, faces imbued with thoughtfulness. A sense of collective inquisitiveness filled the space as Samuel continued to weave his thoughts into the conversation. I believe we each have a unique calling, he stated, words growing stronger as he felt the support of those surrounding him. God has a purpose for every life, and sometimes we just need to listen. Mary leaned forward, her eyes sparkling like the flame of a candle. Listening requires stillness, she added, intertwining her insight. In our rush to find answers, we can miss the quiet moments where guidance often whispers. Nodding in agreement, Samuel thought about the times he rushed ahead, only to feel lost. Perhaps the darkness they feared was not something to flee from, but a part of their journey, an invitation to deeper revelation. Let us take a moment, Mary suggested, her voice soft yet inviting. Let us close our eyes and create a space to hear what God has to say to us. As their eyes fluttered shut, a stillness enveloped them. The world outside seemed to fade as they turned their hearts inward. Gentle breaths became their rhythm as they waited with expectancy, trusting that something sacred was unfolding. In that sacred hush, Samuel felt clarity wash over him. Images appeared, colored with hope, revealing not just his dreams, but those of others around him. A vision of community took shape, a tapestry woven with the threads of shared faith, influence, and love. But there was another piece he could sense just beyond reach. God, what is it? He whispered inside, yearning for understanding. A gentle nudging stirred his spirit, urging him to embrace an open heart. Ask boldly. Seek deeper. Then, in the stillness where faith met hope, Samuel felt a revelation flow through him. What if our purpose lies not only in what we achieve but in how we uplift each other? He breathed, feeling excitement ripple through those present as they opened their eyes. There was a glow in the room, an essence of unity blended with enthusiasm. Faces beamed with exhilaration, their hearts ignited by the thought of serving together, supporting one another through the trials and triumphs of life. Yes, a voice rang out. We can step into our callings together. Others echoed their agreement, excitement bubbling around the room like a spring awakens after winter's chill. Yet even as they celebrated, a quiet revelation lingered. Beneath their very unity, they still had individual journeys to navigate. Each of them carried unique burdens that shaped the community's destiny, intertwined yet distinct. With faith woven into every breath, they turned their hearts towards what lay ahead. Each conversation had opened doors to greater understanding, yet shadows still danced on the periphery. Will we have the courage to face the unknown? Samuel asked, each syllable punctuating the anticipation thickening the air around them. Thus, the mystery lingered like the stars' hidden treasures, to be unearthed as they ballooned into their next adventure. What challenges awaited them, waiting to unveil the deeper truths of their faith? What steps would they take, and who would they become in the process? Evening descended upon the chapel, wrapping it in a gentle twilight glow. The flickering candles cast dancing shadows, creating a warm cocoon where souls gathered to stir the still waters of their faith. Samuel sat among his companions, heart racing with anticipation. Each person brought a thread to weave into the tapestry of their collective journey, a living testament to the promises of God. Tonight, he said, taking a deep breath, we will share not just our dreams but our fears as well. Let us open our hearts completely. In a room filled with hushed murmurs, the atmosphere felt electric. It was a call to authenticity, a safe space where vulnerability could blossom. Mary, again, was the first to speak, her voice steady and resonant. I fear that I might not be enough, she confessed, vulnerability etched on her face. What if my calling demands more than I can give? A stillness hung in the air, allowing others to reflect on their own apprehensions. It was a universal unraveling. How often had fear held them back from stepping boldly into the light? Samuel noticed others nodding gently, their faces revealing mirrored fears. Fear is a daunting shadow, he acknowledged. But what if we consider it differently? What if it is not an adversary but a signal that we are being called deeper? A soft ripple of recognition flowed through the group. They were gathered, yes, but each soul had its pathway carved with unique twists and turns. With every confession shared, a thread of understanding and compassion began to weave through their hearts. It's like the story of Peter walking on water, Samuel introduced, inspired. He was afraid, but amidst the storm, he found courage when he fixed his eyes on Jesus. Yes, and Peter's journey wasn't just about walking on water. Mary chimed in, it was about trusting, letting go, and embracing the possibility of the miraculous. The words hung in the space between them, weaving threads of faith that carried encouragement. Can we take a moment? Samuel proposed, a spark of inspiration igniting within him. Let us sit in silence again, opening our hearts. Ask God not just for courage but for clarity. Let him reveal what lies beneath our fears. The group complied, eyes closing with collective reverence. Hearts beat synchronously, creating a rhythm of hope. In that sacred stillness, Samuel began to feel a warmth spread through him, a stirring that pulled him closer to understanding. Visions flowed into his mind, images of faces each illuminated with purpose. He saw Mary, vibrant and nurturing, leading a community garden. He envisioned a mom, her past burdens transformed into strength, uplifting at-risk youth. Each scenario unfolded as a tapestry of divine intention. God, open our hearts to what we may not yet see, he murmured silently, yearning for deeper connections. The vision expanded and pulsed, revealing something essential. Joy intertwined with challenges was part of the calling. Gradually, as they returned from their meditative space, faces sparkled with tears of relief and whispers of promise danced between them. What if, Samuel began, buoyed by excitement, facing our fears is how we unlock the doors to our true destinies. What if embracing discomfort leads us to blessings we haven't even imagined? The room echoed with whispered agreements, hearts swelling in unity. They would move forward, not as lone travelers but as a family of believers, confronting fears, expecting miracles. Yet, beneath their excitement, a question lingered, like the dawn breaking upon a dark night. What would they discover individually and collectively as they leaned into the unknown? Samuel took a deep breath. Will we allow ourselves to be transformed by the discomfort? The warmth of divine mystery folded around them, drawing them into an exciting yet daunting reality. They felt called to step out, but what awaited them on the other side of fear? As the hushed silence of the chapel enveloped them once more, Samuel could feel the atmosphere thick with anticipation. Each person seemed to carry a piece of the upcoming revelation. He sensed their hearts were now more open, more receptive. Let us share what we've felt, he encouraged gently. What did God reveal to you in our stillness? One by one, believers began to share their insights, like droplets of rain falling together into a shared pool of faith. I saw a bridge, Caroline spoke up, her voice steady, yet filled with wonder. It stretched across a chasm. At first, I was terrified to cross it, but then I realized it was built of my own faith and prayers. A collective gasp of recognition rippled through the room. Underneath their fears lay a hidden connection. If they could just muster the courage to take that step, the bridge would support them. Samuel nodded appreciatively, his spirit ignited by Caroline's wisdom. That's powerful. It reminds us that our fears can often become bridges to our destinies, rather than barriers. Thomas, a quiet presence who rarely spoke, shifted forward. The group shifted their attention to him, encouraging him to share. I envisioned a garden, he said, each word deliberate. It was filled with weeds. At first I felt overwhelmed, but then I understood I needed to clear the weeds to let the blooms thrive. Our fears are those weeds, and with God's help, we can uproot them. Wow, Mary whispered, blinking back emotion, recognizing the truth in his metaphor. The room began to fill with murmurs of agreement, the energy building like the notes of a song crescendoing. Just then, Samuel felt compelled to draw the threads of their revelations together. We are called to cultivate our gardens and traverse our bridges. It demands effort, and it asks for us to confront the weeds of our fears, yes. But what lies beneath is a landscape bursting with potential and purpose. Can we embrace the sacred work required to see it through? As if in answer, a radiant light flickered in the corner of the chapel, drawing everyone's gaze. They looked toward it, hearts racing, sensing something divine was manifesting. The flickering flame of hope was transforming, glowing with radiant warmth. Look, someone exclaimed softly, pointing to the source of the light. It's as if the light is beckoning us, urging us to follow. The beauty of the moment filled the space, and Samuel's voice rang clear. Are you ready to chase that light? To move through your fears and into the unknown? Some heads bowed in silent prayer, while others dared to voice their eagerness. Yes, we are, they proclaimed, their fervor igniting the very air around them. Samuel could feel the collective yearning building, the kind of yearning that invites the miraculous. God is stirring something within us tonight, he said, carrying the charge in his heart. But as they sensed the presence of the divine urging their steps forward, a question emerged in Samuel's spirit, deeper than all the rest. What if we take this leap, and beyond our fears lies something more than we've ever hoped for? What if the light is not just a destination but a companion on our journey? With that thought, the group held their breaths, suspended in the air, ready to embrace the mystery ahead. What awaited them just beyond the threshold of their fears? Only time would tell. As the words hung in the air, the flickering light grew ever brighter, casting a warm glow that danced across the room, illuminating faces that were once shrouded in uncertainty. It was as if the very presence of the divine had responded to their openness, wrapping them in a cloak of reassurance and love. Let us approach the light together, Samuel urged, feeling the pull of their collective spirit. Each member of the group rose slowly, hardly aware of the steps they were taking towards the radiant warmth. With each passing moment, as they navigated the gentle glow, An inexplicable peace filled the chapel. "Trust in what you feel," Samuel encouraged softly, observing the mixed expressions of anticipation and trepidation. "Remember, we are not alone in this journey. God is with us." Caroline, emboldened by the ethereal connection forming, spoke up again. "What if we each shared a piece of our hearts with the light? What if it could absorb our fears and transform them into hope?" Encouraged by her words, the others began to express their vulnerabilities and desires. "I've carried the weight of past mistakes," Thomas admitted, his voice trembling, "but I'm willing to release them tonight." "Me too," Mary echoed, her eyes brimming with tears. "I long to step into my true self, free from the chains of doubt." One by one, they poured out their hearts, their voices intertwining like an anthem of surrender. Each fear, each longing, became an offering to the light, which pulsed in response, creating a rhythm of communion that enveloped the room in divine energy. Suddenly, a low hum began to resonate through the chapel, a sound both majestic and comforting. "Can you hear that?" Samuel asked, his heart racing with the thrill of the experience. "It's the sound of our collective spirit rising. God responds to our vulnerability." The light pulsed brighter still, illuminating the sacred space as a heavenly warmth enveloped them. Tears flowed freely, not just from sorrow, but from a profound sense of release and newfound clarity. In that moment, they understood they were in a sacred exchange, giving their fears and receiving divine affirmation. As the sound of the hum crescendoed like a soft breeze, a vision began to unfurl within Samuel's heart. He saw not just the light, but a pathway molded from their courage, woven with their surrendered fears and prayers, leading to a vast horizon painted with endless possibilities. "Look," he breathed, an excited tremor in his voice. "That path stretches beyond. It's not merely light, it's purpose waiting for us. Can you feel it? Can you see it?" An overwhelming sense of affirmation fell over the group. They grasped hands, a human chain formed by faith and trust, emboldened by their shared endeavors and desires. Together, they took a step towards the light, feeling the warmth envelop each of them like a mother's embrace, guiding and nurturing. "Tonight, we launch into something new," Samuel proclaimed, his eyes sparkling with radiant hope. "It's a journey that requires our trust, and not just in ourselves, but in each other as the body of Christ." But as they stepped beyond the glow, uncertainty lingered like a whisper. What awaits at the end of the path? Will our offerings yield the blooms of promise? With hearts pounding and spirits soaring, the group was poised at the edge of the sacred next a delicate balance of faith and anticipation. What would unfold as they ventured forth? The promise of divine revelation awaited just beyond their brave leap. As they ventured forward, enveloped in the tender embrace of the light, a gentle breeze swept through the chapel, shifting the atmosphere and carrying whispers of encouragement. Each of them felt the warmth pressing against their skin, anchoring them in a moment that stretched beyond time. Samuel led the way, heart throbbing with excitement and hope, aware that they were walking towards the unknown and yet profoundly known. "I feel alive," Caroline whispered, her eyes wide as she gazed into the light. "It's as if I'm shedding layers of fear. Can you feel it?" "Yes," Thomas replied, his voice even stronger now, as though he was shedding not just doubt, but also the weight of loneliness. "It's like we're awakening to each other, as well as ourselves." The group pressed forward, a tapestry woven from hearts that had once felt isolated, but now pulsed in rhythm with the sacred energy surrounding them. "Trust in this moment," Samuel urged again, knowing that the trust he spoke of was twofold. A trust in their divine guide and in each other. "Every step we take is a step towards the fullness of our faith." As they stepped deeper into the light, the soft hum transformed into melodic notes and angelic chorus that began to echo around the room. The air became saturated with an intoxicating fragrance of hope, mingled with the earthiness of the chapel. The walls seemed to shimmer, and the faint outline of angels flickered like candles, embodying their prayers and hopes. Tears flowed freely again, but now they were tears of joy, an outpouring of gratitude flooding each heart. Samuel raised his arms, anointed by the atmosphere, and spoke with clarity. We are not here by chance. We are gathered as vessels filled with divine purpose. In that moment of affirmation, the light shifted again, casting rays that connected each member of the group. They were no longer individuals, but a united mission, a chorus of souls echoing the heartbeat of their Creator. Remember the fears we shared? Mary lifted her hands, transformed by the hope kindling in her heart. Together, let us surrender them all. Let us empower this light to transform them. Watch how our burdens will shine. With a collective breath, they all raised their hands towards the radiant glow. It pulled at their very essence, a loving force inviting them to yield their fears once more. As they set their burdens free, the light absorbed them, fizzling away their remnants like mist under the morning sun. Feel that? Thomas exclaimed, his eyes sparkling. It's as if the light is dancing with our offerings. They're being transformed. A warm rush flowed into Samuel's chest, igniting a passion within. This light takes what we offered and returns it multiplied, a festival of renewal. But amid the celebration, a still small voice nudged at Samuel's heart, reminding him to remain grounded in faith. What comes next? He pondered quietly. The future shimmered in beautiful possibilities, not all clear, but each laced with wonder. Let us not waver in our faith, he proclaimed. We need to step boldly into those unknowns, trusting that God holds our futures in his hands. As they gathered their strength, they felt a gentle pull, like the hands of heaven guiding them. It was a call to venture forth beyond the light and into the divine unknown. What awaits at the end of that path? Samuel wondered aloud, sharing his unvoiced thoughts with the group. Is it more than we can imagine? With hearts ignited by divine courage, they stepped forward into a world that awaited their collective faith. Little did they know, the adventure that lay ahead would challenge everything they thought they knew about surrender and faith. What divine twists awaited them on this sacred journey, and how would they embrace the unfolding story? As they stepped into the radiant light that enveloped the chapel, something extraordinary began to unfold. A chorus of heavenly whispers echoed around them, a reminder of their purpose and the divine mission awaiting their embrace. The air pulsed with energy, wrapping around each member of the group like a warm embrace from the Almighty. Keep moving forward, Samuel urged, his heart thrumming in rhythm with the ambience of hope swirling around them. They pressed on, each breath infused with anticipation, shedding remnants of their past fears and doubts. They felt lighter, buoyed by an unseen force that urged them deeper into the sacred unknown ahead. Suddenly, an apparition of divine light appeared at the chapel's end, glowing more brilliantly than the morning sun. It beckoned them with a graceful radiance that held their hearts captive, a divine promise waiting to be revealed. Samuel's voice broke through the collective hold. This is the moment we prayed for. God has heard us. Together, we are a living testament to his mercy. They stood on the threshold of their destiny, a tapestry woven from hope, faith, and community. Slowly, they formed a circle, hands clasped, whispering prayers infused with sincerity. Mary squeezed Samuel's hand, feeling the warmth and strength radiating from her community. Our collective faith is stronger than our doubts, she proclaimed, tears shimmering in her eyes. We are ready for our next step. In that pivotal moment, a powerful wave of emotion surged through the group. Memories of their individual struggles surfaced like tender threads, and they released each one, allowing Goddess light to heal them. The room filled with a symphony of heartfelt confessions and promises. I release my fear of failure, Thomas shared, voice steady as the air thickened with acceptance, and I reclaim my belief in purpose. As burdens fell away, the chapel filled with dazzling light. Samuel felt the whispers of angels surrounding them, affirming that something profound was unfolding. It's time for transformation, he declared with fervor. Let us tread boldly into God's plans for us. For the healing we experience doesn't end with us. We are called to be vessels of his love. And at that declaration, the pulsating light intensified, drawing them closer. They could almost hear the sound of the holy swell, a symphony of grace resounding through the air, echoing the promises of God. Laughter erupted amidst the shedding of tears, a joyful cadence that sparked hope, as individuals reignited their strength after years of hidden wounds and that space of vulnerability. A shimmering vision unfurled not just in Samuel's heart, but in each soul present. They were not merely a gathering of wanderers but a radiant family, destined to share their journeys and uplift others in faith. Each face radiated a tapestry of resilience born from despair, illuminated with a promise of bright tomorrows. "I see our community blossoming," Samuel revealed, voice filled with reverence. "A sanctuary for those in need, a garden of renewal, where we can gather and share our stories." One by one, the congregation began to murmur in agreement, each feeling a ripple of encouragement, their spirits intertwining into the fabric of one divine purpose. "Together, we will move forward," Mary affirmed, her heart alight with passion. "We will create not only a healing place for ourselves but for all who walk through our doors." There was thunderous agreement, resonating with a unified promise as the atmosphere thrummed with faith and expectation. Mary sensed the beginning of something monumental. Every prayer they had uttered, every tear shared, every doubt surrendered was transforming into a legacy that would continue to inspire beyond the confines of the chapel walls. And in that sacred space, love reigned supreme. Beneath the glow of divine light, they vowed to walk in faith, to spread the miracle of hope in their village and beyond. They would not falter. They were ready to embrace the beautiful yet daunting journey ahead. As they released their fears into the light, a collective shout of joy erupted, echoing through the heavens. "We are ready. We will trust. We will love." The light enveloped them completely, guiding them toward the future awaiting their united hearts. In every step taken, they felt the whispers of faith ready to usher them into a new adventure, rich with promise and purpose yet untold. Little did they know, this was just the beginning, the first act of a divine story that would unfold like the petals of a flower, revealing depth and beauty that would change their lives forever. Do not let this moment pass you by. You need to subscribe now to our channel so you don't miss the next exclusive faith stories. Leave a like right this second to fuel the algorithm and help us spread our message far and wide. Let your voice be heard. Comment below your thoughts and testimonies about this journey. And don't wait even one more second, share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to witness this incredible manifestation of faith. True servants of God understand the importance of supporting the work God is doing through our community. Move now.